Greetings and salutations, one and all. This is God Loves This Angel Too, and I will be your hostess for this installment of Illuminations of Light audio blog series. And today's focus is Empathy Part 1. Today is February 12th, 2010, and the energies have been running high. People's emotional bodies are clearing house, and it would seem that lots of stuff is coming up in our faces to deal with and transmute. Seems like a deja vu, like you've been here before, only with other faces, or perhaps the same ones coming back from the past to finish working out the details of your lessons together. There's a new moon, and feminine energies are running rampant as people's hearts are opening and clearing all over the planet. Venus will be crossing Jupiter, and this combination with the new moon shall prove to be very powerful and a love weekend just in time for Valentine's Day. Greetings and salutations, one and all. This is God Loves This Angel Too, and I will be your hostess for this installment of Illuminations of Light audio blog series. And today's focus is Empathy Part 1. Today, February 12th, 2010, the energies have been running high. People's emotional bodies are clearing house, it would seem, and lots of our stuff is coming up in our faces to deal with and transmute. Like a deja vu, like you've been here before, only with other faces or perhaps the same ones coming back from the past to finish working out the details of your lessons together. There's a new moon, and the feminine energies are running rampant as people's hearts are opening and clearing all over the planet. Venus will be crossing Jupiter, and this combination with the new moon should prove to be a very powerful love weekend just in time for Valentine's Day. So hold on to your hats and remember that these two things too shall pass. I feel that if you're in a relationship, things will get deeper and go to a new level, and if you are looking for a relationship, the stars are in the right place for new opportunities in love. So enjoy a little indulgence and treat yourself and your honey this weekend to some TLC. Our topic today is about empathy. Empathy has so many aspects to it. We're going to break this down into a series of blogs in the next month. What is empathy? It is the ability to feel things. It is, in the sensory way, can mean feeling emotions, in a healing way, to feel someone's pain, and in a cosmic way, to feel the planet and the events which are taking place here in the universe. It's a lot of things rolled up into one. Who has empathy? Well, I believe that we all have empathy to one degree or another. For example, if you've burned your finger on something hot before and your child burns their finger on something hot, you can empathize with that feeling of burning because you've experienced it before. You have the total understanding of what that experience is about and what's involved and how long it will take to heal, etc. It's a knowing through experience. This is much different than sympathy, which is that we can imagine what that person is experiencing, but we have not walked that experience, so we can only share in it to a degree. An empathic person is a person who experiences more than most and therefore can feel exactly what the other people are feeling, and therefore they can help heal and or transmute that energy. This experience may not be an experience in this lifetime. This may be knowledge or an experience carried forth from past lifetimes as well. This gift of empathy is a very useful gift, but one which comes with a great deal of responsibility as well. For when you're working with people in the capacity of assisting them, you must be careful not to do it for them, but to allow them to discover within themselves how to surf the emotions and the feelings they are experiencing for themselves. This is not always a pleasant or comfortable thing, empathy. In fact, more times than not, it's very uncomfortable for the empathic person. To absorb all that's around you and feel it can be very overwhelming, confusing, and unbalancing, because oftentimes we do not recognize what we are experiencing as someone else's or something else other than our own stuff. It takes time and conscious effort to make that distinction for many. What I found to be most difficult was how to shield myself from those outward energies. The second most difficult thing was learning how to control the energy we call empathy. How I finally gained that control was through the help of a friend who not only understood what it was I was going through, but was willing to teach me how to work with it enough to at least live with it. It was about this time when I had made a vow to myself to help as many people as I could understand what was happening to them as they began to awaken. I swore this code of mystery and secrecy that the religions hold of the gifts would be shared with everyone, not just the elite few. This is why I'm starting the radio show, why I started to write and do chat rooms. Why I'm driven to complete the books I began to write all those years ago. What does empathy feel like? Empathy is such a mishmash of stuff it really is difficult to put into words, but I will humbly attempt the description of the feelings associated with it. On the emotional level and on the psychological level, these feelings can appear to feel like bipolar or depression symptoms. You're suddenly crying for no reason when you were just fine a few moments ago, or you suddenly become agitated and angry for no reason. It can also be the feeling of an anvil in your entire being. It can feel like there's no hope and a sense of loss or being lost. The inability to focus on anything because you're a mess inside. It can feel like a sadness that will not leave you. It can feel like you are a totally different person than you were yesterday and feel like you're misplaced out of time and space because the emotions and thoughts go against everything you personally know or believe in this life walk to date. I always tell people, try describing what salt tastes like when you've never experienced salty. Not so easy to put into words, and so it is with empathy. Unless you have the experience of everything that it is, at times it's difficult to express what it is that we are feeling. How empathy is felt by people is on a very physical level. You can actually feel the same pain as another being. If you've never had a history of a knee or a back problem and now all of a sudden you're feeling pain and symptoms as if you had the issue yourself, this is a valuable tool when learning to heal others. It helps you identify exactly what the problem is in the other person so healing energy can be directed to that point. But if you were to go into the doctor's office, they would tell you that there's absolutely nothing wrong with your physical body, yet you still feel the pain. How does that work? Well, again, we are feeling it and understand it because on some level we've experienced this pain or the same thing on a physical level before. It doesn't mean that we're experiencing those feelings as a result of our own injuries currently, but we can feel other people and as they are experiencing it in the present time. There are times when you can feel as if you're losing your mind, your faith, and your ability to carry on. Many respond to this inability to deal with the issues by secluding themselves to avoid feeling everyone's stuff. I find for myself I've done that as a natural defense to it. I go into the world, but also need the sanctuary for my own space, to not feel if I so choose. And the thing of it is, this gift never turns off. When it's awoken, it only continues to grow and grow stronger. So trying to run away from it or deny it is futile. In continuing, on a physical level, it can feel like flu, fibromyalgia, a cold, sickness in the digestive system, a loss of appetite, headaches of all kinds, neck and back aches, difficulty breathing, panic attacks, irregular heartbeats, tingles throughout the body, hot and cold temperatures in the body, extremes like you feel like you're going to combust or it's so cold that you're almost in convulsions, insomnia or the opposite of wanting to sleep all the time, irregular menstrual cycles, and the physical symptoms associated can reduce or increase sexual desires as well. These symptoms can be applied to the ascension process, so it's important for you to be able to go within yourself and identify the energy signatures and speak to the cellular and atomic levels as to where the feeling is coming from and ask how to disband it. I tend to run light through myself and release through a tube in the center of the earth for transmutation or up to the heavens in twinkles of gold so that they're carried for transmutation in this manner. The key things to learning to control these feelings is the ability to identify within yourself, to go within so you can be guided as to how you can separate the different energy signatures and work them in your own way. These things I share with you are from my own research, study, and experience, but like people, the gifts are equally diverse, and what works for one may not work for another. My experiences may not be the same, but similar, and I will say this. One thing that's true of most empaths is that we experience far more trauma than the average person. The answer as to why is that we have to walk through more because we are an example of how to overcome the difficulties and challenges in this world. We are the ones the masses turn to when nothing else makes sense and the old ways begin to fall away. We are the way-showers, the healers, the light in the dark. The weak are made strong through the power of what we may call God. In our weakness comes His greatest glory and power and strength. I will revisit this topic more in the coming weeks, but for now I bid you all a good day. Blessed be.